Live from deep in an underground bunker in East Tennessee, this is America's premier mortgage field services expert, Paul Williams.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of Foreclosurepedia Podcast. Foreclosurepedia Podcast presentation of Foreclosurepedia Radio Network, which premieres each Sunday evening. Today's date is 22nd of November, 2015. We're rapidly approaching Thanksgiving, and as we are, we're all blessed, and we're thankful for the fact that Mickey child rapist Snow has been detained as of the 3rd of November 2015 in Bangkok, in Thailand, as we predicted. And as we also pointed out, and now the drive-by media is bringing up, Snow's wife, Hewitt-Tongsua, Hewitt, is from Thailand. I don't believe in coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get somebody right here on the show, recently discharged from both Tongsua Management and Snow Enterprises. You stay right there. We're going to be back with you after a word from our sponsor. I understand, I presume it was you that initially reached out to me. So I guess that's why I'm calling. Or are you one in the same that called your faith or whatever?
Yeah, correct. That's okay. Correct. Where are you at, in California?
Negative. Right now, I'm outside of Area 51, Nevada. I'm probably maybe 5 miles from Area 51, if that.
Okay. Do you see any UFOs?
See a lot of weird things out here, my friend. A lot of weird shit. Almost like the preservation industry, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen a few UFOs in there too, but no, I mean, I guess originally I was skeptical because I wasn't familiar with your website, so I didn't know if it was legitimate or not. I assume it is, So
we've I'm a one-man show. I've been single-handedly responsible for bankrupting out in upwards of $100 million within of NAMPS, National Association Mortgage Field Services clients and members. People like the Berghorse. That's Heather Berghorse. She is one of the legacy members. The Buchecks bankrupted them out. The Boyds bankrupted them out. And, it's simply what I do because there are some, at least in my humble opinion, there are some companies to which you make no plea deals. None. And right. And so it is what I do. Do I hope that one day there can be change? Absolutely. Am I going to be at that round table? Fuck no. No.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But, no, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, man, and just the way they treated me was just unbelievable,
What I had heard, and I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but what I had heard was that the minute that it was determined that Snow was going to be, he was finally detained, the warrants were issued out, I heard they started laying off left and right.
Oh, yeah, they laid off everybody. I mean, they kept a skeleton crew just to... And what really made me mad was so many people that they kept were like their worst enemies. It's like, here I am. I'm not bragging or nothing, man, but I've been for years, saying I was their top inspector and the best employee and this and that. And then when it came down to the end, what really bothered me was he transferred, just like when Obamacare kicked in, he transferred a bunch of employees over to Tongsua to avoid having to pay Obamacare. Because, as long as he stayed under 50 employees, he wouldn't have to pay that. So, and I was one of those people. I got transferred over, and I didn't really care at the time because I was just trying to make a living, and just a lot of shady stuff like that, And then the last 6 weeks I was with Hewitt-Tongsua, after I was like the very last person in the company to find out what really happened with Mickey,
right?
And because at first, when I was first told about it, I thought it was just a prostitution thing. I had no idea there were children involved. So I just thought, okay, this prostitution thing, he'll probably wind up just getting some high-powered attorney and getting out of it, right? So I just kept going about my business. But the last 6 weeks, it's like financially I was already in a tough spot. And then the last 6 weeks I was working for Hewitt-Tongsua, we were getting less and less and less jobs. But for a while there, we were doing great. We were getting more and more jobs, and I was working overtime and left and right. And but then all of a sudden, the bottom dropped out, and I kept asking, "What's going on?" And no one would tell me anything.
Right.
And that went on for like 6 weeks, and I just got bled dry. I mean, financially, I was making $200 or $300 a week the last 6 weeks. It crushed me. It crushed me.
What kind of work were you doing? I mean, now would you be considered what we'd call like the traditional W-2 employee, or were you a subcontractor? Or
actually, I was hourly. I worked directly for them. I wasn't like a private contractor, so
right.
That's why it was a problem. And if I would have known ahead of time what was really going on, and I asked 100 questions, and no one ever had the answer for any of them. And, I guess I should have seen the writing on the wall, but I didn't know how serious the charges were.
Right.
And then once I finally found that out, matter of fact, I think it was your website that, because someone had told me to go to this website and read the articles, and I finally read the articles. I'm like, okay, now I know everything. But by then it was like too late for me.
Sure.
And then, and I know Russ Snow, his son, he gave the Snow employees that he laid off, like the last 2 days of the week, for that particular week, and then the following week he gave severance pay. So it was like 7 days severance pay.
Right.
But I wasn't getting anything because I worked for Hewitt-Tongsua, and I went to one of his because he can't get in touch with him. So I went through somebody else that reports directly to him, and and he said, well, Russ said, well, I have nothing to do with Snow, or with Hewitt-Tongsua. And I'm like, well, you have everything to do with Hewitt-Tongsua. I go, first of all, I was working for Hewitt-Tongsua. We were using Snow vehicles and Snow credit cards. And I actually went to Mickey's property to pick up my car every morning to go do inspections. You know what I mean? So don't tell me you don't have anything to do with Hewitt-Tongsua. You have everything to do. You're connected, I mean, and, it really bothered me because I was trying to get the severance. I'm like, that's the very least you could do for me. And then I had to beg and plead for that. And finally the daughter of Pawn, Mary Hewitt, finally said, "Oh, okay, we'll give you a week's severance pay, a week's pay." And I said, "Okay." And then I went and picked up the check, and she even shorted me then. Like it was like 32 hours. I'm like, "Why is it only 32 hours?" "Oh, well, we did an average." I'm like, "Well, an average of what?" I mean, an average of you shorting me for the last 6 weeks. I mean, you can't give me 40 hours after putting in three years of hard work, I mean, it's like, it was just like, it was unbelievable. It's like, it was unbelievable. And I just, and then, you know, I heard through a good source of mine that Mary Hewitt and Russ were actually sending Mickey and Pon money when they first went to Thailand. You know, they were sending them money, you know, and because Mary had actually mentioned it to a close friend of mine. And, you know, and then finally when it became really bad, Russ told Mary, you know, just if you keep continuing to send them money, just don't tell me about it. You know, just one of those things, you know. But, I mean, I don't know. I just want to talk to someone, and I'm glad you called. I mean, I don't know what could be done about it. I applied at a couple of the places that took over the area, and PKMG and CWIS, and of course, they never contacted me.
What type of work do you do? Are you talking about actually doing field work, or are you talking about doing processing?
Yeah, field work.
Well,
yeah, I actually do the inspections.
I tell you what I can do is, if you get me down your information, I mean, you have my direct email now. I can reach out. I mean, publicly, I'm hated by everybody. Privately, just about everybody deals with me. And that's because it's far easier to bring labor and management together quietly in the rabbit hole than it is to deal with my wrath, publicly. And so it's a quiet quid quo pro, If you get me over your information, how to contact you directly, the areas that you cover, I'll be more than willing, to kick your name up and down the pike.
I appreciate that, yeah, because I'm in desperation mode right now, and unemployment doesn't pay anything, and I'm just, I wanted to stay in the same field, but I was like to the point where, okay, I got to start doing something else, but...
Yeah, and the other thing I'm going to tell you is that, so if you honestly believe that they did screw with the numbers to ensure nobody got Obamacare or anything like that, I can put you in front of the United States Department of Labor, specifically the Wage and Hour Division. I don't know if you're familiar, but Snow Enterprises, was sued twice by DOL, and awards were made for fucking with labor, for want of better words. So there's options there. I mean, and but additionally, because you and perhaps others have information about the fact that Tongsua management, in essence, was an extension of Snow Enterprises, which by proxy is Mickey Snow. I'm going to tell you what, you guys could be entitled to one hell of an award under what's called a key tam. That's spelled Q-U-I-T-A-M. Because, Tongsua management always, held out that they were separate, and which is utter and complete bullshit. And especially, with the documentation that porn was over there with Mickey in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if that's something you're interested in, I can move you around, and any former employees, or workers or anything that was associated with either company, bring all of you guys together collectively, find out who knows what, then move you guys over to a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice, but, I've seen enough of these come down the pike that I know precisely how they work.
Right. I mean, I was actually very interested in suing them because I feel as though I've been tainted just because of the name, and it's like, so they don't want nothing to do with a Snow or Tongsua employee. And here I am. I know I'm a great inspector. I mean, I don't do anything wrong. I do my job to the best of my ability, and been praised for years about it. And now all of a sudden I can't even get a job in the industry because I'm assuming because, on my resume, I have to put those names on my resume.
Sure.
I mean, it's like, So I don't know. I mean, I'd love to call a lawyer and find out, or if you have someone in mind, but I don't know what could be done. But
well, I mean, you know, if it can be shown, and I believe through statements it could be shown that Tongsua management, going all the way back to their original address filing, which was Mickey Snow's address that was reported on his arrest documents, Tongsua always has been fucking Mickey Snow. There's no extension there, and for anybody out there who is, you know, attempting to paint this picture that Russ and Katrina are these nice, lovable people, fuck them and fuck Russ and Katrina. No. I mean, straight the fuck up, man.
No, I know. I mean, and they might be the worst culprits of all. I mean, it's like, you know, and what really got me angry, though, was when I talked to his little crony about getting in touch with me over the severance pay, because here I was stiffed completely, and I'm like, I got nothing out of this deal. I got milked the last 6 weeks where I'm almost broke, and then all of a sudden I don't even get a severance, and you gave 7 days severance to all the Snow employees? I mean, what? Oh, no, he said he doesn't have anything to do with Tongsua, and I said, well, yes, he does. That's what I said. We drive Snow cars. We use Snow credit cards. We report to a Snow, property to pick up our vehicles. I mean, and Mickey, when he was here before everything happened, he still ran it, even though it was Tongsua. He still, gave directions and stuff. So, I mean, it was all Snow. It was all Snow. And then all of a sudden I just feel like I've been completely screwed. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, what I'd like to do is go ahead and make some calls around. Let me see who I have in my cabinet. Find out whom it begins. I need to know precisely what areas you cover, so get that to me. Get me a good time that you're available tomorrow afternoon, Eastern your time, and I'll follow up on that. And then, in addition, get me, need to find out how many of y'all can corroborate each other's statements. You see what I'm saying? So one person saying, I mean, it holds weight, but in a court of law, I don't know how much just one person will, but I'm sure there were other people around. So regardless of whether they want to come forward or not is immaterial. What is material is that you or whomever can say, well, this person was here and this person was here when I overheard this, this, and this, or these people saw this, this, and this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just really the nature of the case. I mean, that's how things are done.
I mean, Mickey, because I before all this happened, I mean, I talked to him a lot. I mean, he was the one that actually told me that the reason he was transferring employees and laying off employees was try to get under the 50 employee mark for Obamacare, and I mean, he was always screwing the employees, but I was in a desperation mode anyway, because I was taking care of my father that had dementia.
Right.
And so he gave me flexibility in that regard when it came to my dad. So it was like the only job I could really keep. Because if I went on and got a regular job, it would have been impossible. So, I mean, so that's kind of why I held on for so long, because the last year and a half, I was taking care of my dad, and it was so difficult. And, I just feel really, really screwed, and I just don't even know what to do, and I know there's just been a lot of wrongdoings going on, and I wish I could get, something out of it, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I have something coming after all the work I put in for them, and to throw me 32 hours at the end of the day, after you milked me the last 6 weeks, I probably lost 2 weeks' pay the last 6 weeks, and now you're going to throw me 32 hours at the end and act like, everything's okay. And I know they're trying to change the names, like Mary Hewitt, Hewitt. They're all trying to change their names and trying to get more contracts. And I know Russ is doing the same thing. He's probably changed his name already from Snow Enterprises to something else. Who knows?
Do you have a list of, or are you familiar with whom the clients were for Tongsua and whom the clients might have been for Snow Enterprises?
Well, yeah, it was directly originally with Snow. When I was with Snow, it was CWIS.
Right.
And then when I went to Tongsua, we went through PKMG Management, which reported to CWIS.
Yeah, now allegedly about a week ago, PKMG, maybe a week and a half ago, they said they dropped Tongsua Management. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
Yeah, they did. That's why I lost my job.
Right. Yeah, I'd followed up and spoke with them about that.
Well, more than a week and a half ago. It was like probably almost 2 months ago. They just stopped giving us work. And we were getting a ton of work because we had 6 counties that we covered.
Sure.
So we had a huge area that we were covering. And it was just me and one other inspector. So the two of us were busy all the time, and then all of a sudden the bottom dropped out. But that was like 2 months ago. At least 2 months ago. After all this, hit the airwaves, they just stopped giving us work. And but I was left in the cold because I didn't really know what was going on until I found out the seriousness of it.
Right.
So.
Well, let's set get me some information over today. Let me reach out and let's set up a follow-up call tomorrow. I'll bring to bear whatever I can.
So, how are you familiar with those two companies?
The long story short is, have you ever heard of J. Edgar Hoover?
Yeah.
So that's who I am in this industry. I am a ghost in the machine. How I am familiar with them is the fact that, and be careful how I phrase this, I possess a very unique set of skills that I have honed to a razor's edge over the past 20 years. And for whatever reason, I'm within this industry causing change. Part of that reason is what is going on today within this industry in real estate poses a clear and present danger to the national security of the United States of America. And that is because of the fact that the last thing we have to buttress the economic pillars which are the foundation of our economy is real estate. And when you start to go down a very slippery slope wherein even the ownership or what is going on with the tangible property, then what happens is you no longer have collateral. If you don't have collateral to draw against or to pony up, if you want, for want of better words, to draw notes, then you no longer have a nation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with respect to Mickey Snow, about 2.5 years ago, I had already come out, many within my circle, we call it the rabbit hole, I had come out and I said, this is precisely what is going on with Mickey. Here are the glossy 5x8s. Here are the recordings. You people make your own determination. But I told them 2.5 years ago, these were high-level NAMPS members. These were people within government circles. And I said, this is what's coming down the pike. Nobody wanted to listen. I said, boom. So.
Right. How'd you wind up doing that, man?
What do you mean?
No, I mean like the glossy photos and stuff.
That's. I wouldn't be able to discuss that.
No, okay, that's cool. No, I know. I understand.
I always relate a story. There's a certain congressman one day that I hear came into a hotel room. And he came into the hotel room to have a tryst. And what he noticed was the simple fact that the smoke alarm, when he was done banging the little intern, it just kept flashing red. And when he took the cover off, and the guy, probably had seen a movie or what have you, he noticed that within the encasement of the smoke detector was not a smoke detector at all. It was a camera. So, is the Fourth Amendment, is privacy really to be expected in the 21st century? I don't know. Apparently with that congressman, it wasn't. And that's about as far as I'll go with that.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, help you can give me, it'd be great. I mean,
give me,
at my wit's end here. I don't know what to do. I'm just really upset over the whole thing, and and just the way they treated me at the end, I just couldn't even believe it, man. I mean, it was just like, man, after all the years I put in, he claimed that I'm your best employee, and then he still got people on the payroll that are, and the other thing, everybody in the office, except for a few exceptions, everyone's smoking dope. You got one guy dealing the dope. I never smoked dope. And it's like, I was never part of the Klan, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just went and did my job, and it's like, you got all these other people, and then you got two people still on board that you got on the payroll that really hated him from the beginning, which just amazes me, because that was the other thing that always made me mad about him. And I still kick myself in the ass because I know I could have made changes, but I was taking care of my dad. I didn't have a lot of choices, and they're always a rewarder of bad behavior.
Sure.
They're always a rewarder of bad behavior. I mean, the worst employee, I don't care what you did, if you didn't show up, you didn't, I mean, they just rewarded them. It was just like unbelievable. It's like, dude, I mean, you realize how hard I'm working for you? I'm doing my job. I don't milk the clock. I don't do nothing. I just do my job and I come home. I mean, and just the way they treated me at the end was just like, come on, are you kidding me?
They don't. They don't care. They don't care. No, you're a number. They don't care about the. They don't care about the property out there. All they care about at the end of the day is money, and they will destroy anyone, anywhere, at any time to get that money. And unfortunately, our government, and make no mistake, at the very highest echelons, our government knows precisely what is going on. And my only theory is people at HUD, Craig Carnes and those boys, they're getting kickbacks. It's my only theory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that's true. I mean, Mickey was all about that. There's all these government contracts that they had. It's like, how do you get these contracts so easy? And then no one else like me can get them because you have to have a lot of money. You have to be in the game, and obviously I don't have that. And but it just amazes me that people like that can get so successful out of the government, and just totally screw their employees. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I just want retribution, man. I really do. I mean, I don't know how to go about it, but I mean, I can't even function right now. I'm so pissed off at how things went.
Give me a holler. Like I say, send me out your info. As soon as you get off the phone, hammer it out. I will get on it immediately. I got a bunch of paperwork to shuffle through anyway. I'll include it in there, and I will follow up with you tomorrow afternoon, your time, if that's convenient.
Oh, yeah, and 24/7 I'm available, so. I got my phone by my bed, too, so. But, yeah, you just want me to send you the counties that I can work?
Yep.
Or? Okay. All right, is that all the information you need?
That's about it, man. Reach me on Google Plus at D. Paul Williams, LinkedIn, Paul Williams, and the LinkedIn group Property Preservation Consortium, Twitter, Foreclosurepedia. We stream all our podcasts on iTunes, Foreclosurepedia. We have our screencasts over on YouTube, the Foreclosurepedia channel, and always at foreclosurepedia.org. We'd like to give a special shout-out to Amazon.com, whom provides our S3 podcast and video storage, and Cloudflare for hosting Foreclosurepedia in 24 different geo-positioned servers, pro bono as well. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to give me a shout-out, COO@foreclosurepedia.org.